I don't know about you guys, but I have been loving Ghost of Yotei. I never played Tsushima prior to October, and once I picked it up, I platinumed it in just 45 hours. The first game was amazing, so I had high expectations of the sequel that all the fuss was about, and I was not disappointed. I still haven't finished the game, and I'm writing many of this as I continue my playthrough, but I wanted to give my raw thoughts on the beautiful Ghost of Yotei. To me, the story premise is a bit weaker than Tsushima from the get-go. I feel like we've been told a revenge story a lot of times, especially by Sony. I do compare this game a lot to The Last of Us 2, and Atsu and Ellie have a lot of similarities. Given, I do love The Last of Us 2, it is my favorite game of all time, and Ellie is one of my favorite main characters in fiction. But it is kind of getting repetitive, and also Assassin's Creed Shadows had a similar story, so this also does give me major Kill Bill vibes. And I do think that was kind of intentional, like very big inspiration. The gameplay is a drastic improvement from Tsushima. The things you can do in this game, they're changes that aren't necessary but make the gameplay more interesting. It doesn't innovate on anything, it doesn't try to change the core of Tsushima, it just builds on top of it, which is what a sequel should do. Disarming and throwing enemy weapons is amazing. It makes me feel more ruthless. It kind of fits Atsu's personality more than Jin's, so I'm happy they added it in this game. And the combat feels so fluid. The animations and the sound effects team cooked. Every time I hit an enemy, I can feel it. Just the sound of it slashing an enemy is beautiful. It feels way better than Tsushima. Tsushima to me felt like I was kind of hitting them with a really sharp wet noodle, but in Yotei I feel like I'm cutting through my enemy. Stealth is something I love in video games, and this game did not disappoint. It built more on the original stealth systems from Tsushima, but it added things like you can drink sake and then use your empty sake jar to distract enemies, kind of basically replacing the wind chime. The chain assassination in Tsushima was a big gripe for me because the range of it felt like T-Rex arms. Jin couldn't move past 3 meters, but Atsu has a lot more range, and it makes it where I don't get frustrated when my enemies are slightly away from each other. Gameplay overall is what a sequel should be, like I said. It builds on the predecessor's foundation, and it doesn't try to do anything crazy or change anything that came before it. The exploration feels incredibly intuitive and natural. It feels like you can flow from one side objective to another, like for instance, if you're doing a tail, you can find a lot of alters, which is ways that you can increase your skills, and that's how you get skill points. And in my personal experience, I've got lost for hours just doing side content. You can easily ping from one objective to another, and it's like an endless loop of just constant dopamine. The game also does have a very immersive open world, and there's a lot more interactions with NPCs than Tsushima. Tsushima had a good open world, but it kind of felt empty in a way, because a lot of the NPCs, they only had background voice lines. But in Yotei, you can interact with NPCs a lot more. And it kind of reminds me of Red Dead Redemption 2 in a way, and especially the camping system. If you ride your horse, you get an option to camp, and it also restores your spirit, but you have a chance for a settler, a ronin, or somebody else to come sit down with you and talk with you. And this just makes it feel like there are actual people in this world. It doesn't make it feel soulless, and it adds a lot more to it. And just small details like this are found all within Yotei. The people that do visit your camp can also tell you information about the Yotei 6, which is the group that you're hunting. And getting information from NPCs and interrogating enemies kind of makes me feel like Batman, but it also does make me feel like I'm really hunting them. It gives me the essence of a bounty hunter. Speaking of bounty hunting, Yotei added bounties, which are kind of small objectives, not like a tail, but not also just like a collectible. It's kind of in between. It has somewhat of a story, and it is a good addition. It doesn't add too much. It's not nothing crazy, but it is something fun to do, and I did catch myself doing bounties over and over again, and then it kind of got repetitive. I am not a big fan of non-linear stories. I am very much traumatized by a bunch of the Assassin's Creed games that took this approach, and it made the game way worse. However, so far, it doesn't seem like a non-linear story. Everything is nice and it flows well, and it doesn't feel like Atsu can't really change, which I find is a critique of a lot of non-linear games. The Yotei 6 as antagonists are so cool, especially Lord Saito. It's very weird to have Zenyatta from Overwatch as your main antagonist, but he plays the role so well. Everybody in this game plays the role so well, especially Jubei. I feel like Jubei's acting is off the charts. I love his character. Atsu's acting kind of does feel flat. I haven't finished the game yet, so I don't know fully, but from what I've seen, Erika Ishii puts on a good performance, but compared to Daisuke Tsuji with Jin Sakai, It's a very big difference. There's a dog in the game. You have your own wolf. What else do I need to say? I mean, that's peak. In one of the bounties I was hunting, I got defeated, and I've only ever had this happen once, where the wolf came in and revived me and we fought together. I didn't even know this was a feature at the time, but just seeing it made it feel so cool, and it actually like surprised me. Atsu's outfit and all the outfits in this game are so good. Honestly, Atsu's outfit might be better than Jin's. That might be a hot take, I don't know, but I do love her color scheme compared to Jin's. Jin's outfit was really good and it did fit his character, but man, Atsu's outfit just looks so good. Touching back on Jubei and Atsu, their brother-sister dynamic is one of the best things about this game. I love seeing them just interact, and there's a lot of comedy in this game, which I kind of felt was lost from Tsushima. Tsushima was very grounded and gritty, and so was Yotei, but the game gives you chances to be funny, especially with Mad Goro. I won't spoil anything, but every interaction with this guy kind of made me cackle. One thing about Atsu's character that I noticed throughout the story is Atsu has to live up to her legend rather than gaining it throughout the story like Jin did. What I mean by this is already at the start of the story, you have the status of the Onryo. You are the ghost. You don't have to develop into it like Jin did. So far, I'm not really liking it because I love Jin's development. I thought that him gaining that title of the ghost symbolized a lot and meant a lot for the story, and it was very cool. But automatically having that title kind of eliminates that development, although Atsu is sort of having a reverse development where she already has a title and is trying to escape it and trying not to be full of revenge. Stances being replaced by different weapons was the greatest change I think in this game. I mean, having different weapons, having dual katanas is amazing. It feels so cool, especially using it with the Oni's fire ability. I feel like I'm in Demon Slayer. Speaking of the different weapons, Sensei missions are a very underrated addition from what I've seen. Not many people are talking about how cool it is to have a weapon tied to a mission. And the missions aren't just throwaway missions. They're actually interesting. They have a cool story, and some even go on longer than just obtaining the weapon. The game in general just feels more cinematic, which I didn't even know was possible compared to Tsushima. Tsushima was one of the most cinematic games I ever played, and it's kind of hard to put it into words, but if you've played the game, I feel like you know what I mean. Especially in the duels, the camera work, the performance capture, is very much improved upon in Yotei, but even both in Yotei and Tsushima I felt like they were amazing. The horse being faster and being able to upgrade it is such a big W. Getting around from place to place is so good. I love being able to run that fast with my horse. However, not having listen mode so early in the game is kind of annoying. I haven't got up to unlocking it yet. I don't know if it's tied to a story mission or if it's like a skill I have to unlock. If it is a skill I have to unlock, I haven't seen it so far, so I don't know what's going on. Upgradable charms are also a thing in this game, and I think this is a massive W. This just adds to the progression and the loadouts of Yotei, which I feel like kind of was lacked upon in Tsushima. In Tsushima, I just threw on whatever I thought was cool, and I kind of put on my charms without thinking. But in Yotei, you can actually kind of have a structured build. And the composer for this game, hooked. The soundtrack is amazing. Tsushima's soundtrack was also amazing, but this game does it so good, man. Atsu's theme is phenomenal. Speaking of music, the shamisen is very cool, how it ties to her character and how it kind of ties into some missions depending on what you're talking about. And the fact that it does replace the guiding wind sort of in a way with collectibles. Getting Atsu's story through flashbacks is also cool. I like how fluid it is to transition between the two, and her backstory is very interesting. I did actually find myself going out of my way to go back into flashbacks that were optional just to learn more. Speaking of her flashbacks, Atsu's mom is fine. I cannot wait to play more. I currently have it on while I'm recording this, and I will probably release a full review of the game later on, but so far, I think it's a 9.2 out of 10. In comparison, for me, Tsushima was a 9.4 out of 10, so you can see how close it is to being as good as its predecessor, but until I finish the game and until I platinum it, I can't say it's better than Tsushima. But when I do, I will let you know which one I think is better. You guys should like and subscribe, because this kind of took a lot of effort. Thank you.